Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has condemned yesterday's walkout on the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, by a group of women loyal to the suspended governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, describing it as an embarrassment to the people of Rivers State. The minister, who apologized to the First Lady and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on behalf of the people of Rivers State, said, "Insult on anyone representing the First Lady of Nigeria in an event is a direct insult on the office of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and as a leader in Rivers State. I apologize," Wike said. Now, Leroy Oyalinka, media aides to Wike, in a press release from the FCT, said some women, led by some sacked local government vice chairman, has staged a walkout during the Renewed Hope Initiative Empowerment Program organized by the Office of the First Lady of Nigeria, held at the EUI Event Center in GRA Port Harcourt yesterday. The program was meant to benefit 500 women in the state with various empowerment items. According to a statement on Saturday by his Senior Special Assistant on Public Relations and Social Media, Leroy Oyalinka, the FCT minister, who is in China for official engagement, described the incident as very disturbing and embarrassing, cautioning supporters of the suspended governor to desist from ridiculing the state. The minister counseled the suspended governor to demonstrate honesty by being bold enough to tell President Tinubu what exactly he wanted, rather than saying something today and doing another tomorrow. He said, "It is not enough to be visiting people to plead for peace. Those who genuinely want peace work and act for it. These are the same people pleading for peace, but at the same time doing things that are contrary to what they are pleading for. How can you say you want peace and at the same time you are sponsoring people to insult everyone, including the president and his wife? All those shenanigans wouldn't bring peace, and I am sure they know that, because they are not sincere with their up and down pleadings for peace. As for me and those who subscribe to my leadership, we condemn in totality yesterday's show of shame, and we apologize to our First Lady for the embarrassing conduct of those few women who do not represent the characters and ideals of the people of Rivers State." Leroy Oyalinka, Senior Special Assistant, Public Communications and Social Media, May 3, 2025. So the communique signs. Now, what do you say to this story?
This is a clear case of grandstanding and double standing and double fascism.
By who?
By the camp of the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara. This is a clear case of double fascism. If it's in philosophy, that's the word we use for people who are not to be trusted in any way. Because given the what do you call it? Given the peace moves that have been laid, I think the camp of the governor is really grandstanding, and like in the words of Lera's Shoyinka, I think this is pure shenanigan to use his words, because if you say that you want peace, he who comes to peace will come with equity, and then that coming with equity, the person must come with clean hands. The person must come with clean hands. You know, the show of shame, in the words of the FCT minister, who is in China for official engagement, is what it depicts what happened on, is it on Friday or Saturday? They walk out of few women. You know, this was properly orchestrated, because they knew that the First Lady has visited Bayelsa State, and the visit of the First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, was not so sudden, and it was not something that was shrouded in secrecy. It was an empowerment, given his Nigerian Women Initiative to come and visit some of the Nigerian women, see them, and grant palliative or enhancement to some of them to make life meaningful to them, despite the fact that in another breath, those kind of life-changing programs have not heeded to change lives in Nigeria over time. Poverty alleviation has become poverty affiliation, and so to say. But it is a program meant to, familiarize herself with the Nigerian women issues. And having come to Rivers State, which is in a state of emergency, Laurentia, is it is to be granted that the wife of the sole administrator will be spearheading those who are going to welcome her, because the wife of the Governor Siminalayi Fubara suspended is also suspended because she is not even an elected official. She is occupying that position of a first lady, given that her husband is the governor of Rivers State. Mm-hmm. And when the governor is not there, it is a natural law and natural phenomenon that she should not be there. Even the deputy governor, who is a woman, she's also suspended. So there is no commissioner for women affairs in the state. All of them are suspended, given that the governor is suspended. So it follows a natural law that the wife of the person who is piloting the affairs of Rivers State should be in the saddle to welcome the wife of the president. And the wife of the Mr. President gave her that official privilege of speaking on her behalf. So she didn't take the honor upon herself, just like I said that those that are whipping sentiment, calling out a buzz, the Rear Admiral retired, did not take the honor upon himself. He was enjoying his retirement, but given that the antecedents of the time he served as the chief of naval staff, put him in the poor position of coming to, mediate in such a time that a president of a nation will carry the burden of a state and lay it on his shoulder to come and steady the ship of Rivers State until normalcy is returned. I don't think there is anybody calling out a buzz, taking him to court, or now trying to denigrate his wife. Is doing so to their own loss, because if Mr. Governor suspended Siminalayi Fubara, as we have learned, is making Nicodemus moves, visiting FCT minister and going all the way to London, and they know that he didn't go to London directly. He first of all landed in Germany before he jetted out to London to go and meet with Mr. President. And till now, Laurentia, all his movements to Mr. President, even it was those who were around when he visited Mr. FCT Minister that we are saying what happened. There we have not gotten any statement or press release from the camp of the governor to say that I visited Mr. President, I paid a visit to the FCT Minister in a move to seek for truth, to make sure that I try to play the politics of saying that I'm sorry, or whether he's pleading, or whether he's trying to soften the ground for himself. But no official release from the camp of the governor. All of those movements are being seen by his supporters as a mere media propaganda, and it is not it is not good for his image. If you are a man, and if you are a governor, a political leader, and you have supporters, those who are listening to you, it is imperative that any move you're making, whether for or against, that those people should be in the know, so that all those media propaganda they are dishing out, even some of his media aides are denying what the moves that he's making. But those who are privy to these moves are telling Nigerian public this is what is happening. So that is why Mr. FCT Minister, through his media man, has said that you can't be seeking for peace in one breath. In another breath, you are now, you are now using propaganda to water down what you are doing. So, in the clear terms of what Mr. FCT Minister told the suspended governor is that go and meet with your supporters. That means he has not spoken to his supporters. If he has met with his supporters and told them in clear terms that, look, I'm seeking for truth, everybody should cease fire for now, those women will not be walking away from an event that is meant for women. And believe you me, those people who has organized this walkout are still the same people who are rallying for Siminalayi Fubara's comeback, who are calling out a best, calling him all sorts of unpredictable names, as if the man just brought himself to River State.
All right.
He's not the person that brought himself to River State. So it is into the benefit of Siminalayi Fubara and his camp to cease fire and to know in that when you are walking through the lines of peace, there are so many things that you should jettison so that peace will be achieved.
All right.
Now,
I have a lot of questions to ask you, and this particular issue, there are, different perspectives to it. Number one, you have said that if the governor, you said that the governor probably did not...
Suspended governor.
No, the suspended governor, thank you, probably did not carry his supporters along in his move for peace.
It is very clear.
Hence the walkout that happened, correct?
Yes.
Now, I am looking at the possible implications of this event that happened yesterday. When you insult a woman, most times, because we're in a patriarchal society,
yes,
leadership or not, the husband will take that as an insult to him.
Directly.
Now, staging that walkout, that public embarrassment, however it is, one would be looking at how well or how not well it will go down with the presidency. Now, up until now, the presidency is silent on that matter. The presidency is not speaking on that matter. Now, recall the first peace pact that President Tinubu spearheaded when this crisis, at its infantile stage.
Yes.
And what happened as there was a blowout, and the president was accused. At some point, some persons even took the presidency to court, challenging his constitutional powers to mediate, to mediate and act, or engineer a political truce in River State. He was questioned, and Njuria Ngelale, much later when this crisis started spiraling out of control, and Pandeford and other people were calling for the president to intervene. Njuria Ngelale, Ajuri Ngelale, the then spokesman for the president, came out and said that the president said the president is not going to intervene in River State crisis anymore.
Yes.
Now, that to a large extent was seen as an affront, and that statement by Njuri Ngelale should have gone a long way to signal the position of the president, even though he has remained silent so far in River State crisis. The only other time he spoke after that peace pact was to tell them to go to court. And this time around, he just instilled a state of emergency. Not calling, and so far the president has not called any parties together like he did that first time. That, to a large extent, will say the president felt insulted, and up until now, there has been no clear form of apology to the president with regards to that first peace pact. And now this is happening again while another peace is being pursued. How do you think this will pan out for the suspended governor?
I want to also paint a picture of what we had and from the gossip media and from those around the suspended governor's camp when this issue was brewing, especially when they were hoping on leveraging.
But we don't discuss gossip.
No,
we don't do speculations here.
No, what I'm saying is that when they were leveraging on some personalities, when the issue was at the Supreme Court.
Okay.
to say that the Supreme Court will be the final arbiter, that somebody somewhere will be mediating and making sure that the Supreme Court judgment is where they are waiting for the camp of Nyesom Wike and Martin Samehule. We also heard that somebody's wife was spearheading, leading the suspended governor now to go and meet Oluremi Tinubu. I'm painting this picture for us to know that there were moves that were made through Oluremi Tinubu to pacify the husband.
That wasn't gossip. That was an actual thing that happened.
Okay.
So it's not about gossip.
Okay. Now, because, for you to know the way I put it, because we saw those things clearly, that some people were now, as if it's a show of force. You have the husband and we have the wife. It was clearly played out. It clearly played out in Rivers State when this issue was boiling. The camp of the suspended governor was holding the wife of Mr. President, whom his camp has insulted now.
They weren't holding her. There was a delegation.
A delegation to go and meet her.
With the wife of the suspended governor to go and meet the wife of the president.
Yes. So
with regards to Rivers State crisis. There were no camps. It was an issue of the president was with the FCT and the House of Assembly while the first lady
but
was...
that was what in their mind. That was what was playing out in the minds of those who were the supporters of Mr. Suspended Governor now. Because they felt that hence Mr. President with the 8-point resolution agenda, purportedly favored the FCT ministers camp and the Martin Samehule. Now they found a way, when the litigations was going on, to now move tending towards the wife of Mr. President. Why I say that is that reverse and fast forward to where we are as of yesterday, the same camp now, denigrated and the spite at the face of directly the wife of Mr. President. So can you juxtapose somebody that is very sincere and the group that is coming up and looking for somebody to mediate for them? That's $1 million question. So, but talking about Mr. President and the wife, how they has been denigrated with this walkout. This walkout was not even the people that organized the program I learned. We are not overly perturbed because they expected it. This is an open program where you expect the good, the bad, and the ugly to assemble, and they knew that in this particular gathering, such thing was to be expected.
Which brings me to the next question.
Yes.
If such thing were to be expected, because now I am looking at the emotional intelligence of the organizers, considering, I am not actually bringing it into question, but I am trying to understand how they could pull such an event, knowing that this is going to bring mixed multitude. And, there might be some form of rancor if the wife of the sole administrator is brought up, considering that currently there is crisis, and some women has been protesting for, and some other women have been protesting against. Now, and you're bringing these women together for empowerment by the wife of the president, considering, tensions currently in the state. One would have thought it wise to even spare the wife of the sole administrator that embarrassment in the first instance. I mean, the Ministry for Women Affairs still has permanent secretary.
Yes.
Good. The wife of the president could have chosen a representative from Abuja.
You see,
the wife of the president could have even chosen a representative from NDDC at its way. The thing is, considering the crisis in Rivers State and the tension and the protest and counter-protest, do you think bringing out or making the wife of the sole administrator the representative of the wife of the president in this particular event was wise?
Yes, it was wise because this is where the presidency that brought about the state of emergency and who sent a bus want to take charge. They want to take charge and make a statement emphatically.
How so?
So the emphatic statement is that since Sebas came, we've not heard about the wife. And you know, in Nigeria,
this is not business as usual.
I know.
What has the wife got to do with the state of emergency in Rivers State?
The wife of Mr. President, who was unavoidably absent, chose a person who is the head of the Rivers women, so to say, to come and give a speech. She could have chosen anybody for that matter, but given also the level of mediation that is on the ground going, they never envisaged that, though in a small corner of their mind they thought such things can come up, but not from the escalation and the quick succession for which it happened and gained this media attention. Remember that this event could have happened in an open ground. First of all, the organizers took cognizance of this, the tension and the protest and counter-protest that happened in Rivers State, and chose an event center. Because all the other places that they will come and do such things, they could use either one of those open spaces that are designated by the Rivers State government. But what happened is that they saw that there is also these issues going on in Rivers State. What did they do? They chose an event center, and that event center is a secluded area, which you wouldn't think that such thing will happen. Even after the walkout happened, the event still went on to tell you that it was orchestrated, it was planned to spite at the wife of Mr. President and the wife of Abbas, and also that cheap political gain that those who stayed the walkout, wanted to achieve, did not overly, gain the news which they wanted, because it turned out to be a shame on those people. But for me, the wife of Abbas, being the person that the wife of Mr. President appointed, because anywhere she goes, it is also the wife of the wife of the governor of the state who goes to receive her. And given the position of Abbas, you're saying
Rivers State is an entirely
a different.
Rivers State is an entirely different ballgame. Right now, Rivers State democracy is not obtainable in Rivers State.
Yes,
right
which
now.
I agree with
One
you.
could say the constitution is
suspended
in Rivers State.
That's true.
So you cannot be looking at it from the angle of what is.
These are politicians.
No, it's not about politics.
These are politicians.
Hold on, it's not about politics right now. It is about, understanding the times and what is needed. I am looking at the people that planned this event.
Yes.
Democracy is not in Rivers State right now. There is crisis, palpable tension. There are protests for and there are counter protests against this emergency rule. And then this protest so far, who are the people that have been used for this protest?
It's some women. Some women.
I need you to understand this.
Yes.
Women. And then the wife of the president decides to have an event for the same women. And then in that event, you still choose to pick up someone who will be considered as controversial, who is in the eye of the storm. We have to understand this thing. Who is in the eye of the storm to represent the first lady. You see, like I said, it is not democracy right now.
Yes.
You understand?
But we
in
are
a democratic
political
setting,
and animals.
Hold on, in a democratic setting, you could say that because he's the wife of the governor, this could, and if that stage out happened, if that walkout had happened, one could look at it from a certain prism. But in this instance, that's why I'm looking at the emotional intelligence of the people that conducted or planned this event. Did they not consider that this embarrassment will definitely happen if the wife of the sole administrator, because it's disheartening, to be candid, that the wife of the sole administrator was disrespected and embarrassed, and the first lady was disrespected and embarrassed as well. But then the concern now goes to the people that planned this. Did they not think this through? Did they not, consult widely to understand how this is going to play out? Yes, at the end of the day, the event ended well. 500 women were still empowered, as it were, but there was a blight. There was a blight. And why you say that it is counterproductive for the governor who is seeking peace? There is also another message that the camp of the suspended governor is passing out. That women walked out because women stayed back. Hold on. Women walked out because they were not in support of the emergency rule. They walked out, disrespected the presidency, as it were. That was the news that first of all broke out. And that was the video that was released. Circulated. Then much later in the night, that was when the story, after the event must have concluded, that was when it now came out that 500 women were empowered. So the event actually did hold and it ended. Do you understand the trajectory of what has happened in the media so far?
Yes, but be that as it may, I still maintain my line of my thoughts, yes, that the camp of the suspended governor shot themselves on the foot. Why they shot themselves on the foot is that they chose a wrong occasion to
the timing
and the tides of the occasion, to rubbish themselves, to all the gains that have been made in the past 1 week. Let's say that there is a gain from before Mr. President returned from his vacation up until Friday, accumulating into the Saturday of yesterday, that this show of shame took place. It is to them that have shot themselves on the foot, and not any other person. Because if you say that you are seeking for peace, you want the suspended governor to return, it is also through this event,
to intercede and talk to the first lady.
Yes, through this event that you would have brought out placards, there was subtle displays that should happen that will pass the message.
Was it a subtle display? Or
no, I said you would have
one of the women, taking the floor to actually address the wife of the president.
Yes, so in a manner that is appealing,
that is receptive.
Yes, that is appealing. There will be a way, because you will not tell me that the organization did not include the women group that are for the Mr. Governor and against.
Okay.
Because Mr. Administrator and the wife is in the midst. So immediately this thing happened, we would have used it as a ground to pass a subtle message. You are appealing to people that, you see, Laurentia, I always state here that you don't make trouble with somebody who has nothing to lose. Ibas has nothing to lose. The FCT minister has nothing to lose. The Mr. President, Oluremi Tinubu, is still in his saddle. So he has nothing to lose. Who is losing at the end of the day? Because like Mr. FCT Minister said this last week, even if you bring all the women on the main road and don't give them clothes again, it wouldn't change anything. The state of emergency is upon us. What I have been saying here, you were not here last week when I said that on this temple of truth, this ATN platform is an open truth that we have been telling to Siminalayi Fubara, that if we had followed what some of us has tendered here, he will not be where he is today. They are at it again. You're seeking for peace, looking for a subtle ground, which have said that all those energies expended in marching for and against, and in walking out. This is not a national assembly. This is not a state house assembly where you say you stage a walkout and it makes an impact. You know, this one has no impact at all, because if you had continued here, that means you are telling Mr. President to the face, one, we are in disagreement with the state of emergency you brought upon us. We are in disagreement with the suspension you gave to our governor, and we are not ready to take any other thing coming from you. Because what we are saying is that IBAS is still, why I tell you that IBAS has nothing to lose is that whether the state of emergency ends today or elapsed for 6 months and extended for another 6 months, it is not, he has nothing to lose.
All right.
If Mr. President wakes up today and recall IBAS and say that let democracy come back to Rivers State, he has nothing to lose. If it elapses because from what I'm seeing and the statements that have come out from Larry now is that Mr. Suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara is not ready for peace mediation, because you could not be going for peace mediation. You could see when some people were talking about P2B and how his followers were insulting people online. He came out and apologized and said that yes, you could expect some of those people youth exuberance and you could expect overflow, but they are not doing it for him. He asked them to cease fire, because some of those people you are insulting might be the people that are having meeting at night with your principal. But Siminalayi Fubara has not even come out to tell his supporters that a peace mediation is going on. Look at the people that took him there. We heard about El Shoba, we heard about the governor Abiodun, and we heard about the people that took him to FCT minister. But has he come out, or any of his media people that are here over the radio that are making inflammatory statements here and there, have they come to, you know, own it up that their principal have told them to say that we went, when the 8-point agenda came out, and before they came back from Abuja, the news has already filtered here that a peace pact was signed. People were saying, the governor cannot sign this, he cannot do this. He came back and said that after all, it is not a death sentence, and that a gun was not placed on him to sign it, that it is for the peaceful coexistence in Rivers State. But we had yesterday on Friday that he had returned to Rivers State. In the airport, people were there where he was received. Why didn't he make a statement that where I'm coming from, I met Mr. President, I met with Mr. FCD Governor, that peace is on the way, that we are working out something. But he didn't make any statement. Right. The news said that he entered a waiting SUV and sped off without speaking to anybody. Neither his media aides spoke to anybody about where he was coming from and where he went and those he met on his way going and on his way coming back. So what are we talking about? Whether if they like, let them stage a walkout from the market. Let the women that are supporting for and against. Moreover, you've heard that most of them don't even know what they are protesting for. So this is not a time to whip sentiment. This is not a time to stage a walkout. This is not a time to go and bribe women to 2,000 naira to come and do a walkout. At the end of the day, who is on the losing spray? You have lost in the courts. After the proclamation of the Supreme Court, those elders who has hitherto called Mr. President a medicine in Talopa went to Abuja to ask him to now mediate. He told them what to go and implement what the Supreme Court have said. So where is Mr. Governor at this time? He's in a position of weakness. He's in a disadvantaged position now. The only window that he left for him is this window that Nyesom Wike has opened for him. That a peace is there. But that peace they are seeking for is for Mr. Governor to take it to the bank. I've made some statements here.
Is it the FCT minister that...
No, the FCT minister had gave him.
The FCT minister
and gave his grounds.
It wasn't the FCT minister that opened this window for him. It was the state of emergency that opened
the window for him. Yes,
because when you analyze accurately,
yes.
it is the state of emergency that opened the window for the suspended governor, right? To have enough time, to have enough time while he's on this hiatus to make peace, and there has to be negotiations and compromises along the way. The House of Assembly there has to be negotiations across board. So it was the state of emergency
that gave him the leeway,
that gave him this door for this to happen, right? Because the truth remains that there was move for impeachment of the suspended governor,
of course,
prior to the impeachment.
Prior to the state of emergency.
The state of emergency, thank you. Yeah. That move was only halted as a result of the suspension of the governor and the Rivers State House of Assembly.
Yes.
So even if the governor, the president should lift the state of emergency
as it is
the
now,
day that the suspended governor returns to office and the Rivers State House of Assembly assumes office, that day the impeachment process will start again.
Without reaching a truth.
This is the reality.
Yes, without reaching a truth.
Ground, that even if the state of emergency, you see, this is why my concern is, again, on the intelligence of some of the people, protesting and calling for lifting. I think it should have been more of how do we make this peace?
Yes.
So that even when this state of emergency is lifted, the governor can resume duties as the governor. The House of Assembly will resume duties as House of Assembly, having a clear understanding and working in synergy for the betterment of Rivers State. Because if that is not done, and the president, let's say the president decides to react based on this insult and decides to lift the state of emergency without proper negotiations from the state actors, believe you me, the governor is coming back to get impeached.
Of course.
Because the Supreme Court has indicted him. The highest court in the land has indicted him, right?
Yes.
So that is what he's going to face. He's still going to face impeachment, right? So it would have been the proper thing to be done is for both protest for and protest against should just cease, so that River State will have peace and allow these actors to think clearly, and mediate properly, and hopefully peace will return in River State.
Laurentia, one thing that baffles me is how our people are still living in delusion, and the illusion of thinking that sentiment and bias will play out in this particular time where we are now. Those things does not move anybody.
All right.
So if we have been saying it here that those who call themselves stakeholders, the clergies, those who call themselves women group, community groups, and whatever name they go, nomenclature they call themselves, is to go and start making moves for reconciliation. It is not a bus that will constitute a committee. It is not part of his mandate. So it is left for why he is in the saddle, for those who are warring to find a way to mediate. Once they achieve peace, and Mr. President see it as they have achieved peace. Remember that Mr. FCT Minister said that some APC stakeholders, and they are those loyal to the Tony Okocha, will be in the meeting. PDP will be in the meeting. House of Assembly will be in the meeting, and he himself and his group, and those people that have been hitherto received punches here and there. So it's not going to be, it's a tall order. See, Laurentia, if Mr. Governor think he's going in the night and meeting with Wike and carrying 3 people and meeting with President, it will not work. A lot of people have been halted. A lot of people, look at this one now, a buzz and the wife of Mr. President have been dragged into it. Because an apology will be rendered to them, unreserved apology should be rendered to them for this show of shame. So the more these things are happening, the more Mr. Suspended Governor is accumulating
more political enemies, so to say. And it is not going to be to his credit. At the end of the day, he is losing. He has lost his fame. He has lost his seat. He has lost almost everything. And posterity and the history will not be kind to his administration for leaving Rivers State, which is saying Rivers people first, in this mess, unattended. And in the Committee of States in Nigeria, Rivers State is being regarded as a state where peace cannot hold.
You're right.